I'm not gonna start off with that topic there. I'm gonna start off with these because this was I don't know. I know I think it was separated. That's why I was wondering. I was just like, I know I wrote more than one day in there, and I should have dated it right. But so what topic we got today is what starts off hard will soon become easy.
Mm.
And I was doing a lot of reflecting because I watch all of our show, our all of our stuff back clearly because I have to edit them for you all. And sometimes there's not much to edit out. You don't have to edit much out, so it's beautiful. But there are days where I spent 4 hours actually editing. I had got up like at 4 in the morning. I finished at around. I got up at 4 to do my devotion. Started at 5 and I finished at 9 with editing, and that was for a full hour video. And then today I did another one, but it was 12-minute video, and that took me 2 hours. I was like, Lord. But what starts off hard will soon become easy. Every time that we find ourselves in a position of not wanting to do something, it's because we fear the fact that we can't get it done. So with me, I used to dread editing. Like in particular, I used to just dread it because I figured one, it was gonna be hard and I couldn't accomplish it. So at the beginning of our podcast, like when we were first starting out, I told myself I gotta find somebody to help me edit this stuff. Like I was reaching out to my cousin, but at the time he was super busy in his schooling. And he, and congratulations to him. Shout out to my cousin Michael. He graduated really again. I think this is either another certification for him. He's going to school for nursing and he's just finishing off each program and he's excelling and great. He's doing wonderful. So congratulations, bro. I'm very
Awesome.
proud of
Round of
you.
applause.
Yes, very proud, very proud, very proud. Um, but back to the story. So I was stressed, just stressing out about it. And I was like, damn, remember I was telling you I gotta find another software to buy because I didn't want to spend money on software. So this was at the time we were thinking about money, budgeting. We were thinking about what we gotta spend. The software I was looking to at the time was like $200 and so dollars. And I was just like, okay, I don't want to do that. Then I had to pay $40 a month, $42 a month for another editing software that I wasn't really to me it's not as user friendly as the the free software that I'm using now on the Mac. So I was dreading every moment of it and just allowing stuff to pile up too. And in some senses, people you wouldn't even think it was piling up because I was doing something with it. I was getting the audio, I was doing all that with it, but I was just dreading all of it. And what I learned also, like, is that the stuff that we dread, that's temporary. That first time, you have to do everything for the first time. That's how you get better because you're doing it for the first time. It's never going to start off right. You're never going to get it right 100%. But when you are persistent and you keep going, that's when you get better. And when I tell you, every day I had to force myself, I was just like, look, you got people counting on you. You got people that's looking for these videos to come out. You got people that believe in what you're doing. So why are you trying to hold back because of a temporary feeling of uncomfortability for a moment? We get so uptight about being uncomfortable for a moment. A moment of uncomfortability will give you a lifetime of freedom and reassurance in everything else that you do. Every goal that you set out will be accomplished if you stick inside that uncomfortability for that moment. So that, like, maybe put in perspective everything. And I think it also starts with if you have a why. Don't you think so, Tosh? Like having a why.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, as you were saying, like that one moment of comfortability, imagine how many times, like, if we, pushed off the dentist, pushed off, a mammogram, a prostate check, those simple checks that we need to do, going to get our car service. So, I mean, whatever those things, those tasks that you have to do that we push that, we normally push off. Imagine if, like Joy was saying, like that one moment uncomfortability or even inconvenience. Inconvenience can be uncomfortable as well. Imagine if we actually just took that one moment to do it and to get through it, and the next thing you know,
Mhm.
either A, you if you do find a problem with it, you're able to nip it in the bud so much sooner. And it won't cost you as much in terms of extra uncomfortability or extra pain or extra suffering. But by delaying the inevitable, you could be causing yourself, maybe even your pet. If you haven't taken your pet to the vet, during those yearly, check-ins or whatever, your pet could be, suffering and you don't know because you put it off, or you said
Yep.
that's gonna be too comfortable, or it was inconvenient, or it's too much of a time crunch. These excuses essentially are all I get. These excuses are made because we're made to feel uncomfortable. If our time is used up and we don't want to use it in that manner, that's uncomfortable because that's inconvenient or whatever the case may be. So by Joy saying pushing back those things that need to be done, those inevitable things that need to be done, you causing more suffering, and honestly, you wasting more time.
Yeah. And not only that, but and not only wasting more time, and if you even want to take it back to a personal reference, like for example, I'll use myself, those moments where I I always find myself for a moment I found myself until like this breakthrough happened, not speaking up when it's right. And remember in the first few episodes we were talking about speaking up when it's right and doing those things. And I pride myself on being one of those people who don't hold back. And that was something that I didn't, something that I like with my family. They always held back when it was time to speak up for when it's right. They always held back when they should have said something in that moment, but they didn't. But they say it behind your back. They'll say it to everyone else but you. Like, so I want you to say what you said when they weren't here.
Mm.
Because it held so much power and it held so much accountability for them to be accountable for their actions. You would have changed their life if you would have just been real with them. You would have changed their life if you would have just said what you had to say because you've already said it, but you were so afraid to correct them in their wrong that you just destroyed their life. Discipline is nothing wrong with you having someone who holds you accountable, holding you accountable, disciplining your children. The Bible even says, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. The Bible says, and this is all in Proverbs, the Bible says, and I'm reading Proverbs chapter 14, and it's either, it has to be in 14 or 13. It might be in 14, where he says that if you decide that you don't want to discipline your child, and not discipline in a way where beating them, he's saying teach them, train them. If you don't do that, if you don't try to correct them in their wrong, you don't love them, because you're okay with them failing and being a fool. You're okay with them living a life that won't be substantive to them. You're okay with them living a way that is not adequate in the way they should live. I'm trying to get all my words together, guys. But it it harms them in the long run because they have no self-discipline. They have no self-control. They don't hold themselves accountable when they go out and do something wrong. They think, hey, no one's ever corrected me before. So now they're always thinking their wrongs are rights. And that's not the way it should go. So where did I fall off at, Tosh? You know you always pick me up when I fall.
Honestly, I was going with you, but I mean,
Oh.
essentially, what we're basically what she's trying to say is that, like, in order, so dang, Gun Squad, I almost lost my own thought too.
Yeah, that's because I went because I had a point, but I had see
Yes.
y'all, we be going so deep. So I guess I just stay there. I guess we'll
Yeah.
just stay there. So the point is that you have to you have to be real with that person. That's where we were at. You have to be real with them. You're not
Knowing when
harming
it's
them.
time to speak up.
Yes, you're not harming them when you're telling them what's right. They may not like what you're saying, but you are not doing them any justice by holding back the truth. because you could be literally saving their lives. Do you know how many people died because of lack of guidance, lack of truth, lack of godly wisdom being taught? Because the blind can't lead the blind. Come on, y'all. The blind can't lead the blind. So why would I hold something back from you that I know can help you? And I think one of the biggest tasks that's going to be for me when I do go back up there to be with my family is just speaking up, because they hold so much information back. They don't understand that. And this is not just my family. These are Black families, maybe, and all families. Most families do this. They hold back valuable information that can save that young person's life. Because I guarantee you, we're all in this world. The game doesn't change. Only the people do. Okay? So what you went through as a child, there's a possibility I had to go through it as a child. So help me. Tell me, because all the signs are going to be the same. We're all going to go through all those similar things. But instead of letting me bump my head the same way you bumped your head, now my daughter going to bump her head and her daughter going to bump her head. Where does the cycle going to break? Talk to me. Be real with me. Stop caring if it's going to hurt. Everything you want in life happens through pain, because that's a growing period. It stretches you. It gets you ready. It prepares you for what you ask for. So stop being afraid to discipline. Stop being afraid to teach them self-control. Be real with your people. They will respect you more in the long run, regardless if it hurts. Do you agree?
I do agree, but I do got a question for you.
Okay,
so what if
ahead.
you're a person like me who does speak the truth? Because, like, for example, when I think back, no, seriously, I think about our time back at the Hilton, right? And I found myself, being one to speak up. But when I look at you, imagine, right, this is Joy, right? Number one, you got 2, 3, 5 of these, white managers, Joy, can't wait to see her. When they do see her, they know that they got strength, they got command, they can steer their ship correctly when they have someone like Joy either in the front or in the back. Or if you're someone like me that can speak up, tell the truth, ask the questions, but then when you look at a person like Joy, I mean, she's competent in her role and whatnot, but when she don't say nothing, and you see the respect and the difference in terms of the respect level, or difference in terms of how someone look at her, like how is someone like myself going to truly value or truly, you know what I mean? Like what incentive do I have to speak up outside of, everything? I mean, I still do because it's my nature, but where's the value? Where's the reward in it?
Let me tell you, and this is something I learned from my brother. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And my brother is so smooth. What I tell you, this man will have read you from A to Z, from Mercury to Pluto, and has said it in such a calm tone, and has read your life from up and down, okay? Has read you, okay? And has said it. And so I told myself, I want to adopt that. I want to be able to be that, again, as I keep saying, that effective communicator. Being able to give an exchange of information, which y'all gonna hear about in my bonus video, and flow with me in my bonus video. Y'all had to chop out some stuff, so it's gonna be seeming like it's not on the right navigation. But flow with me, because you're gonna get blessed by it at the end. I guarantee you. I guarantee you'll be blessed by it. I had to tweak it for y'all so I had to get y'all straight to the point, because I was going, y'all know how I get old left and right sometimes. So flow with me. So I knew I wanted that, because I wanted to be that effective communicator. I wanted that. And I knew, how else was I going to be an influencer if I did not know how to be an effective communicator? So what did my girlfriend used to always say to me? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And she's always said this, so I'm just saying, because that was the same thing with my mother. My mother how she said things. She could have been coming with a heart of love and endearment, but because she came like this, vocally, I was just like, And then she's just like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. You stressing me out, you know? So I had to learn that. And so even today, that's when was it today or it was either today or yesterday. That's when my breakthrough happened. And so I knew it was going to happen because when I'm around, like I said, my spirit speaks for me. My spirit knows. My spirit goes before me and really assess everyone that's around me. So when anything is going against how my spirit feels, the alignment of wisdom, the alignment of God, anything that goes contrary of that, my spirit vokes me. Literally, it'll hit me in my chest because it wants me to speak. So it'll hit me with something in my head and in my chest connected. So this strong impulse is just like, hey, like a pressure. You need to speak up at this moment right now, because what they saying out their mouth ain't cool. It's not cool. And we need you to step in. We need you to interfere right now. And every time I don't do it, it hits me even harder. It hits me even harder. And he keeps telling me, Joy, you telling me you are courageous. You telling me all of this stuff every morning. You are proclaiming a scripture and proclamations over you 7 times a day. Sorry, 7 times that one day. Well, yeah, 7 times a day. Yeah, I do it 7 times a day. And I say my affirmation. And you saying that you're courageous. You act in your courageousness, right? So I need you to speak up. Talk up. Because I don't like what's being said out of that person's mouth. And they need to understand how my God operates. And if you want me to be in your presence, which is about to take me to this other topic, but before we go there, if you want me to be in your presence, you have to operate in yourself as so. You have to be in an alignment of respect. Because I've gotten to a point now, Tosh, I can't even hang out with certain people. I don't want to hang out with certain people. I am raising my level, so you should be raising your level to be on my level. So that's where I've been at now, Tosh. That's my whole demeanor now. I can't be around you if you ain't about nothing. I don't want to talk to you if you ain't talking about nothing. And then I don't want it no more. If you ain't on my level or trying to get to it or surpass my level, because I'm trying to be around people who got more than me, because I need that to rub off. Because I even told, I texted my brother today, I said, I want to rebrand myself. You know, I still want to be, you know, Joy, you know, because that's why, you know, I'm getting my dreads, get everything together, but I'm rebranding myself because I know what type of people I'm trying to attract now. I know the group that I want around my life. And it's not about appearances. It's not about the external. I'm talking about people internally. Your spirit is right. How your spirit is dressed up inside. I don't care what you look like on external, but I want you to have that same drive. I want you to have that same mentality. I want you to at least be striving to get there, because we're going to help you along the way. We go, like, you know what I'm saying, Tasha? We're going to help you. We're going to help you along the way. But we want you to want it as bad as we want it. And we want you to get it as bad as we get it.
And you want to have the desire within yourself. Because like we were saying on a few podcasts ago, is that, you know, I get it, you know, the way she's selling it is really, really attractive. But it's a way in which you can get it for yourself and just bypass the advertisement, bypass the passion in terms of the advertisement. It's something you truly can achieve one step at a time. If you make it your goal to be like, okay, then what's one thing I can do? Honestly, I was reading out that book, Think Like a Winner, the other day, chapter 8. And one of the old time quotes says, on chapter 8, and it says that, what did it say? It says, an inch is a cinch and a yard is hard.
Woo!
Inch is a cinch and a yard is hard.
Yeah.
What inches can you achieve today?
Okay.
So eventually you can reach the yard, as she was saying earlier. What inches can you achieve today so that you can achieve the yard? Even me reading a book, a chapter or two every other week is a inch to me, because I know by the time that clock hits December 31st, that book is going to be read. Ain't no ifs, buts, nothing about it. That book is going to be closed, and I'm going to move on to the next book.
That's it.
Simply put.
man. And that's it is
I don't know what side of I don't.
like, and I'm so glad you even said that, because we at my job, they love to have these meetings, which is great. Now I don't know how many meetings they're actually going to have once we start getting into our actual roles. Like, we're in our role, but once right now they take us through sections. So I was in core, I was in hot lab, now I'm in nesting, I'm leaving nesting, so now I'm kind of venturing out on my own, meaning like now I'm going to be I am a representative, but just on my own. But so they were talking about careers and where people want to go, what direction they want to take in the next 6 months. And it made it translate to me so well, because when I tell you, like, really take heed to where you're working. Where do you work right now? What is that job teaching you? Is there anything valuable in that job that you can use for yourself and to better your endeavors and your own endeavors? Okay, like, better your endeavors in your own endeavors.
Endeavor.
So what is that job teaching you? If you cannot take some of the systems that they are using and implement some of the tools from their system in your life, you may want to find another job that pushes towards something a little bit that you want to do, and you can still get the money that you need to allocate to where you need it to go, but really take heed. So I've been using some of the stuff that they've been using out on my outside. So one of the things they were saying is that you always want to find yourself in moving, just moving. So every 6 months, how are you translating? At this 6 months, are you going into a different department? At this 6 months, what are you doing here? So that's why when a lot of times you see me posting motivational stuff, it says every 6 months, every 3 months. Things can happen depending on what you're doing with your time. Things happen at the pace of how much you invest in time. So you can be a millionaire in 3 months, like, real talk, depending on what knowledges and what time you're willing to sacrifice. How much are you willing to give? That's it. We talk about that all the time. How much are you willing to give? So translating to when it's time to move on. I always know when it's time to take us to a different destination. When it's time to that we have overstayed our welcome here. Now let's move. Trust me, I got stuff already built, ideas going on for the podcast, different levels, different understandings, people that we're going to have on the show that are going to blow your mind. And no, they're not famous people yet. Hear what I'm saying? Yet. But their stories are going to be so compelling, you're going to want to share it everywhere. I have all this stuff. I know when it's time to move. So that brings me to, you got to know when it's time to sit. And it's all from training, watching, doing, listening to those nudges, listening to yourself. It is so important. If you don't have wisdom, go find somebody with wisdom. My brother, and I'm going to have him on the show to talk, but he told me something that was just so remarkable and it touched my soul. And he was reading in Proverbs, and he said, and this was at the time he was, trying to decide what he's going to do, what job he's going to go into. And shout out to him. He's doing remarkable. I can't say the word. He's doing amazing. I'm so proud of my brother. He's handling his business. And now the people the ball is in his court. You know what I'm saying? He can make the choice. It's so real that, they telling him, name it and we'll give it. So he called me and he was just like, yeah, Joe, I just, want to talk to you. I'm, trying to make this decision and I just need some wise words. And, I'm just, telling him, just the notion, pray, do what you have to do, and he's telling me some of the benefits, things that are going on. And I'm just following along. Yeah, you're right. Everything that sounds good. It sounds like you got a lot of good decisions here. You got a lot of good choices. And he got to the point he was saying, and I was reading in the word, I was reading in Proverbs, and the word told me, he said that the word said, call wisdom sister. And he said, he started to think. He said, call Wisdom's sister. He said, so I called you.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, what? He said, so I called you because you are so wise and you have been teaching me so much. He said, I had to call you. And I could tell in his spirit, because at the time we was on the phone with one of our family members, and it was just like he was a little shocked that I was on the phone because he needed my attention. So he needed my attention so much he waited till that family member got off the phone to tell me what was really going on. It was so valuable to him to hold that information to tell me that. And that really struck me because that means that the very thing that I've been praying for is coming to pass. And everything that I pray for comes to pass. Y'all, we ain't talking on this podcast for nothing. We ain't saying that everything is I hope y'all understand it. Maybe I don't know if we got to have a camera in our life to show y'all that we have a reason to be glad. We have a reason to be happy because we go through some things that y'all don't understand that we post once a week just to check in with y'all. There are things that I know y'all go through that nobody know about. And that's the realness that we want to bring to this show because not enough people show that part. People don't talk about what it really is like to struggle. People don't talk about what it's really like to toil day and night and receive no rewards till years down the line. People don't talk about that. And that's what we're here to talk about. We try to talk to y'all about the beginning, the middle, the beginning, the middle, the beginning, the middle, because that's really what it's going to be. Because there is no end of learning. There is no end. Either you in the beginning or you in the middle. And then you start up again. That's it.
The only end is death.
Say it.
The only end is death. Even when we talk about retirement and whatnot, they say that, it's not good for old people to retire without any activities or hobbies or whatnot, or else their quality of life will decline. So by saying you are in retirement and you just, haven't, renewed your endeavors to do other things, if you haven't done that and just sitting around whatnot without a goal, without like renewed purpose after your working years, it's noted that most older senior people, like, their health declines because they're not active.
Yep.
And knowing the word doesn't say that, I'm not saying that we should relax and there isn't time for that, but knowing the word doesn't say that our purpose ends after 30 or 40 years at someone's job.
Yep. Somebody taking your best years. They don't end off of that. And that's another thing that we'll talk about that though in another podcast. Jobs taking people's best years. And it really has nothing to do with the job. It has everything to do with that person. But we'll touch on that soon. We'll touch on that soon.
So, and even if you do that, let's say if the hotel was open up again tomorrow and people at the hotel were to hear what I have to say, it is a risk for me to honestly tell the truth, to honestly, not have that extra side blanket to lean on. But I know, like Joy said, that so at the end of the day, I would be respected because I stood 10 toes down.
Yep. And that's really all it takes. We really, like, going back to that, you're going to be uncomfortable. Now, really act in, what is the word I'm looking for? Really act in sense, meaning be logical. Make sure this is something that it's supposed to be said, how you're going to say it, because you don't want to find yourself just being a chicken with the head cut off, saying anything just to say anything to have an intention, because that's a lot. That's, if we can really touch on, which is crazy. I just started thinking about this because it made me think about the whole Black Lives Matter movement and how some people were really just saying stuff just to say it, pretending like they supported the movement, and there were times people would start little fake racial videos of people arguing with each other. just making up stuff to start a problem, to have the attention on them. I've had a few of my Caucasian friends tell me that even their friends would just be doing it and treating it like it's a charity. And that's something I had to correct. I said, one, we're not a charity. Lives, first of all lives matter. Yes, they do. But in this transition, Black lives did not hold up to the burial for us. So we had to enunciate and tell you that Black lives matter. And everything about a Black person matters. Everything about a Black woman matters. We all matter. But when one of us is being treated less than the other, we got to stand up for our all lives matter then. And stand up for the Black lives that had not mattered. So, going back to say that, but Black, so we had to say it strong. But the whole thing with that was that, what was I going with that, Tosh?
Twice in the episode.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, wait, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said it was twice in the episode. That's all I said. Oh, but you deviated, of course, about, how important it is to stand 10 toes down on whatever it is you believe. You know, you have to correct people.
Man, and the sad part about it is that certain things don't happen until some force comes into it. Because there are people who really radically believe in a lot of the crazy stuff that they believe in. And they probably think I'm crazy for believing the stuff I believe in. People probably think I'm crazy for thinking Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. People really think it goes to say, like, we always want to believe that human beings are naturally good. And even their beliefs that humans are naturally good. But I feel like anything that's naturally good can also be naturally bad. Because every behavior is taught. You can grow up in a lifestyle that's only taught to do criminal things or bad things, and for your whole life you think, as we said before, that it was right. And then you get around a different group of people who do what's considered right, and now they looking at you like, look at this delinquent. Who is this fool? Who is this fool? Somebody better go get him. Whole time, misinformation. How have you been taught? Again, everything we talk about go back to full circle. Disciplining children, not sparing the rod, teaching them godly wisdom, being appropriate in your teaching. Man, I feel like it be hitting the nail on the coffin sometimes.
It's okay. We have to, because like the hammer has to push their nail in at that exact spot to connect the two pieces of wood. Without that nail being the connecting force, those two pieces of wood will have nothing upon. There would be no way in which for us to connect, like you said, like the spiritual with the practical. We need the nail, which is your word, to connect those two pieces of wood together.
No, that's real. But before we close out, though, this has been great. We do have in the future, we are going to have another co-host on with us. She's going to be another blessing to the podcast and the prayers that we put up for it. We are looking to expand. Really, probably 4 of us max, maybe 4. Maybe it'll stop at 3. We don't know. We're gonna pray on that. We're gonna definitely pray on it. But we're growing mentally, and I want y'all to take heed too before we close out, that we are human too. Meaning we have similar equipment, eyes, hands, everything that everybody else has. And the difference that sometimes that means that everybody's on an even playing field. We all really are. Your riches can't save you. Your money can't save you. We're all on an even playing field. So the very things that we do, the very things that we learn, just like humans, we evolve. Meaning what we think was right yesterday, we could have learned something new right as soon as we learned that and something new, we learned something new after that. So as Tosh said before, grow with us. See us in our patterns. See us in our new patterns. See us in our bad habits. See us in our new habits. Because what's going to happen is we're going to keep finding more information because that's what life is. Unconditional, unlimited, unstoppable, all of it, everything. Everything keeps growing. Everything keeps learning. And that's what life is. Did you want to say anything else, Todd?
No, I mean that's really about it. So today is, well, maybe I shouldn't say what today is, but today is a good day to get started. Now, yesterday ain't gonna come back. Tomorrow, we don't know what tomorrow may face, but we do have today.
We do. We really do. Well, you know what, guys? Because me and Tosh can really talk all day long. But then I got to edit this stuff and be here for 4 hours, 5 hours. But no, we appreciate you all for listening. And we appreciate you all for listening. And we appreciate you all for listening. But what we appreciate the most is you applying what you listen to. Y'all stay blessed, stay strong. We love you. Peace out.
So long, people.